I accidentally pulled up the wrong episode. So what is this? Just like 5 episodes on each Blu-ray for you?
Yes. I'm assuming the 4K ones are the same way
There is no
on
4K.
your set.
The Groovy set is
So it's
just
probably the same discs.
the Groovy set is just the Blu-rays. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Are you at timestamp 0 of episode 6, good sir?
Yes.
All right.
And I mean, the show is probably shot on digital. Like, this is probably the best it's ever going to look. So, like,
I'm
it's
fine
fine.
with that. In 3, 2, 1, go.
This show is also that rare exception because the original movies were so grungy and, kind of cheap. And they weren't shot in, like, anamorphic or anything like that. That when you do go to TV decades later, the quality is pretty consistent. There isn't that divide of like, oh, these were movies and this is TV. Like they're pretty consistent in term, visually speaking.
So Robert,
The one thing,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
just the one thing the movies have over this is the film grain. It is it that bit of that grit, but other than that, they're consistent enough.
Would you eat that?
Oh God, no! That looks like a scam. Prime, what?
So that is the energy drink that Logan Paul has been shilling for like the last 2 years.
Is that Optimus
Everyone,
Prime's jizz? What is that?
every person that I've seen try it says it tastes like cough syrup.
Oh no!
Um.
Oh, well, we might need to restart this.
Oh,
You
why?
forgot to reset the timer.
Oh shit! All right. Go back
It's
to
fine.
timestamp
It's fine.
0. Go back to timestamp 0.
Thank you for letting us know that much. I wouldn't have noticed that yet.
Yeah, thank you. I was too busy
When you
talking about
post
Prime.
the when we post these episodes individually, you can cut all this out.
Yeah. I was too distracted by the Lunchables. Yeah, I was. All right. Reset, damn it. In 3, 2, 1, go. Last thing I want to mention about that, just while the Stars logo, because it made me laugh really hard. I was watching TikTok the other day. Apparently, he used like his wife's labor, the birth of their child, to promote this.
Of course he did.
I was like, "What the fuck?" I'm here to help and provide Tyson updates. Has anybody won the fight yet?
That's all we care about. We have a split decision.
But yeah, I mean, this show does look a little too clean, but I think it works for. At this point, this is just a superhero show.
Yeah. And like I said, there's still good cinematography, good art direction. The colors really pop.
Talk about TikTok and Logan Paul. What is wrong with it? TikTok mostly for like shit posting. I said Robert a bunch of just random shit that I find, and then he never talks to me.
Yeah, John keeps pestering me to twerk for TikTok, and I'm really shy. I don't want to do
No, okay, not you ruined
it.
Oh, they haven't even fought yet. I didn't know there was. I didn't realize it was like wrestling where there was multiple matches. I thought that weird. This is gonna date this commentary horribly. Um, I love all the set design here.
It's really cool.
Although we're gonna get something here in a second that I'm not as big a fan of.
The CGI skeleton.
Yeah.
It's a fun Army of Darkness callback. I like that we get a spooky, scary skeleton. It's just I wish it could have been stop motion. That's just it's expensive and it takes time, so I get it.
Boxing goes hours. There's a whole fight card. I guess that makes sense. I'm not a boxing guy. I'm a wrestling guy.
And that's also though when you know if you're talking to someone who actually knows this franchise or knows what they're talking about. So when people say like, "Oh, that Evil Dead remake sucked. It was all modern and CGI and shit." That this show went back to its roots, and it's like this show has way more CGI than that movie does. What are you talking about?
That's funny.
Like that movie looks great.
No, I had a really good viewing of it when we watched it.
Hmm. And again, the CGI it's not good, but the tone, given what the tone of the show is, I'm not like taken out of it. I'm like, it could be better, but I've seen worse. I've seen so much worse.
I'm also I'm just confused about the how is this thing so strong?
I don't
I'd watch along with you, but I think three screens on three separate devices might be too sad to display.
know.
That's all right. We just like having you in the chat.
As long as you've seen the show before, don't let us spoil it for you.
Hey Marge, I don't. I mean, I'm sure we've talked about it a little bit, but are you a big Evil Dead guy or just like, those are okay?
Do you remember what your first reaction to this fake out death was with Ruby? Were you like, the fuck?
I was very
Did they
much like,
just do that?
what?
Yeah, it was like, that's
Because at
she's
this
coming
point,
back, right?
I'm still under the impression that she is Annie's sister.
Mhm.
It's like,
And
is
that's
it?
a really anticlimactic way to take her out.
I was like, is there? It's like what? And then when she goes back, I was like, okay, so is the twist gonna be she made a deal like with the devil or something? Adam March, I'm not the Evil Dead fan that you guys are. I'm fair enough.
But we were talking about how the last couple episodes were just kind of okay. That's the weaker part of the season. This is one of my favorite episodes. I think this one's firing on all
No, we
cylinders, and
we bounced back from that episode, last episode, which is probably my least favorite, to probably one of my favorites.
the three of them are really good in this one. Like they've been good already, but this is where their dynamic as a trio is just it's dynamite. Like their banter back and forth is really solid. Like, oh, they are a
Okay,
real
I'm
team
sorry,
now.
I can't take this episode seriously. She just called her said her mug was ugly. 0 out of 10.
Yeah, that is incorrect, Kelly. You're selling yourself short.
Unrelatable. I can't buy it. I think this is also the episode that defines Kelly in terms of video games, because this is where she gets the meat mallet, I think,
Yes,
and she has that in every game going forward.
that's true. It's that and machine guns. That's
Yeah.
Kelly's thing. Lem. That's what a weird name.
I like to think of it short as for Lemmy, like
I like this character. Again, just one of those little side characters you only get for an episode or two, but there's so much to him. He's gonna say in a minute, like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm sober, almost 9 days. I'm doing great.
it's good. It's great. It's all great.
It's good. It's good."
This guy looks familiar.
He has a very distinct look. Clean and sober, almost 9 days.
He would have been a cool boss.
Oh, for sure. He would have been a great boss for that game. There's so many Deadites from the show. I wish they were able to
He is played by Peter Feeney. Feeney.
add. I love how he says he turned his life around by joining a militia. I also think Pablo and Kelly's chemistry in this episode is really good.
Mm.
Their comedic timing's excellent. This is also the crucial episode where Kelly friend zones Pablo, and it's real sad.
F in the chat for Pablo, boys.
This because she says like, "Oh yeah, I wouldn't do that. You're like a brother to me." Like she has one of those
The
lines,
see,
and you're like, "Ah."
I've always read that as lying to herself, because then in the next step, in during the cabin bit, she
Yes,
scares off the blonde that's interested in him.
Samara Weaving.
Yeah, this is the first thing I see her in.
Same here, to the point that when I see Ready or Not, like I didn't even recognize her. It
Oh,
was
okay.
well after the fact when I was like, "Oh shit."
She would make such a great like lead in one of these.
Oh, for sure. Samara Weaving's character should have been a playable character in that game, and I stand by it. I don't care that she's only in 2 episodes.
No, I would
She
play
would have
the
been a
shit
great
out of
addition.
that character. I love this bit, like who's got the cash to pay.
This cheap bastard. But coming up is one of my favorite Ash monologues, if you could call it a monologue, in this entire series. Mind if I string your racket?
I love that. I hate the bathroom fight, but not because it's bad, but because when he
Because it's
dunk,
gross.
it's gross. When he gets his head dunked in the water, oh,
Ugh.
that might be worse than the morgue fight in season two, which
Yeah,
is the most
right.
like fucked up
Oh, it's
thing.
so disgusting. I love because remember the show was shot in New Zealand. They had so much fun with the art direction and set design stuff, and I love that the Steiners called the Western Moose.
Is that a reference to something?
I don't know. It's just like,
Oh.
what's the most cliche
I wonder
Michigan
if
sounding downer name?
this is a stretch, but I wonder if that is like a Fargo reference or something.
Oh, it could be totally.
Because obviously, Raimi and company know the Coens very well.
Mhm. But I am with you though that she isn't being entirely honest here.
Mm.
Oh, it still hurts though. You're just so sweet and pure. It's like, ah, that's not what he wants to hear.
Yeah, I've had this thought a couple of times. If he was probably about 20 years younger, he could have played like a Flash or a Spider-Man type
Oh,
character.
totally. Or like Blue Beetle or something.
Yeah, I think Blue Beetle would probably the second Blue Beetle would probably be the better.
Second or third.
Really, two, isn't it?
There's one in the Golden Age, and then the Ted Cord one is the Silver Age one, and then Jaime Reyes is
Oh,
the third one.
that's right. There is one before. I always think Ted Cord is the first Blue Beetle for some reason.
He's the first one people care about. I'll
Yeah,
say that.
and I think if we do end up getting a Blue Beetle, because I know Gunn has said that the one from that movie will stick around, which I
Yeah,
think
like
could be
they're
a
gonna have to recast.
mistake. Um,
I like that actor in that role.
I mean, I do too, but if you're gonna reboot, just reboot.
I know, but there's also Peacemaker and all that other stuff going on. Wait and see.
To be fair, though, Peacemaker is kind of a reboot, and like
Kind
you could
of.
separate that enough.
Well, and to be fair, too, like Blue Beetle, like that's a completely standalone movie. That's not directly
Yeah.
tied into anything that came before. But you're at the scene. I love the scene so much.
Adam X Robert, the Blue Beetle expert. I mean, that's just true.
Someone's got to be. This soliloquy is wonderful.
I get secondhand embarrassment watching this. I love it. They should just reboot, including not keeping Peacemaker. I mean, I think at the end of the day, I agree, but I
I
also
just would
can't
have
be
let Peacemaker
upset they're
season two.
keeping Peacemaker because I liked Peacemaker.
I would have left that its own thing. Like, yeah, make season two, season three. I didn't need that to be part of the DCU moving forward. I would have been fine with that as just its own thing, like the Penguin and
Yeah,
other stuff. I
because
didn't need
like
it part of the new continuity.
I know, I'm like beating a dead horse, but it's kind of horseshit that you're gonna keep like Peacemaker and Blue Beetle, but we can't keep Henry Cavill.
I can make
I'm
sweet
really,
love to him. Certainly worth more than $22.89. Double that.
I'm really excited for the new Superman. I wish we were consistent.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That's just, it's
Like
so
keep this
good.
on the down low.
That's my husband over there. Yeah. Okay, so it's.
I just love that it
I
keeps
think
going.
Ash. I want to see Ash and Peacemaker hang out. I think
That'd be
they'd have
so
fun.
good. I need Bruce Campbell in the DCU.
Oh please, give him anything, anything. Yeah, this is the one. This is the episode where Pablo says that Ash couldn't destroy the book. He tried to burn it and it wouldn't burn, which is a thing in the remake. But in the first movie, he did burn it and destroy it.
So I like the
I don't know what to do
idea
with
that Sam Raimi just forgot, or somebody involved forgot. But I like the in-universe idea of just Ash is full of shit.
it.
But no, I mean you would have to change like the entire ending of that first movie to make two work.
Right. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
We were talking about like friends or mentors turn enemies. I was thinking about Kung Fu Panda today. I don't
Oh,
really. I think my favorite one is still that first movie because it does have that trope, but I think it's done really well. I know
that first
everybody
movie is
loves
pretty good.
two, but
I've never seen the sequels. I just saw the first one.
I liked two, but I think one just has a way better villain. Very Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars in that first movie. I love this. He's got to freshen up for this hookup he's actually expecting for some reason. I do. He basically said, "Would you fuck me?" I'd fuck me.
We go from Yoda to Kung Fu Panda, much better than one choice. Okay, so this is where some of it starts to stretch my believability. How is she so convinced that he had something to do with it?
Well, she's run into him before and knows he's involved. She's just not
I
believing him
love the
yet.
way this is choreographed, by the way.
This is a really fun part, except for that really gross bit. Aw. It's so disgusting.
Ugh. And I know that's not really like toilet water. It's probably like
It's just got
fresh
food coloring in
water
it.
or food coloring.
I love this. His face next to the sketch.
I love
Jesus,
that
it
he
is
makes the
true.
exact same face.
It's so good. Just Jesus. Nailed it.
Like, why did you make that face?
It reminds me of Hot Fuzz when Timothy Dalton smiles and there's a picture right behind him doing the exact same face.
I also really like
This
this like
scene,
Evil Dead sense that he has.
yeah, it's this scene shocked me on first viewing. I was like, "Holy shit, we
I
went
couldn't believe we went there.
there!" That's
I am so happy they did though.
like I said. Previous couple episodes haven't had a lot of action, haven't had a lot of Deadite carnage. This one gives you so much. It's like whoa, and then the ice skate in her head.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's just a bad time for everyone.
Oh, the cook. I never noticed that.
Yep. Think we better dine and dash. This bit with
It,
the kid, it's so mean. It's so mean spirited.
yeah, it is. It's like Jesus. But what really sells it for me, other than that's really funny, is that Ash has a visible reaction. Like we've talked about, he cares about certain people, uh, but even like with his nonchalant, I don't give a shit attitude, like a kid's death still upsets him.
Mhm. I do like what we
And
got
then
the
he
robot
just has
hand.
the RoboCop spike.
Yeah. I like the weapon variety we get in this series.
I do and I
I,
don't. I'm happy with just the chainsaw, but like anything else is
mhm.
icing on the cake.
Okay, so is there a magnet on his wrist? Like, how does that work?
Because he's the chosen one. This is a great.
uh,
This is probably my favorite shot.
this is good stuff. I also
Speaking of
think
good superhero stuff, though, Transformers One just came to Paramount Plus, and I highly recommend.
ooh, okay, I should finally watch that. I love the shot of him. I kill killers. And like I said earlier about Pablo, I love that he both gets his badass moments and his oh shit, I'm gonna die moments. And a minute ago, I think we saw a classic Texas
This is
switch.
probably the best that I kill in the whole show.
This is a great moment for Kelly. It's really brutal and visceral. It's all practical. Like this stuff's great.
Yeah,
You'd think she'd use the meat hammer more than she actually does, given the
it's
video
kind of just
games that
become her
follow this.
weapon.
No, this scene is great. And this is a really important Kelly episode because this is when she finally gets to become a badass and one of the Deadite killers like the other two.
It's kind of cathartic in a way to just see her get to let
Mhm.
loose. Adam
Yeah.
Arch, random but related. Do you like 30-minute format? I think we actually need more 30-minute shows.
Yes.
I
I
I am
love
a
it for
big
this series.
proponent for just letting your episode be the amount of time it needs to be. So like 30 minutes works here, but I wouldn't say it should be the universal standard.
Mhm. I think comedy is a really difficult genre to pull off in an hour.
Comedies more so should be 30 minutes. Like the idea of like I'm a big Friends fan. The idea of a hour long Friends episode makes me want to die.
Right.
But like a 30-minute episode of Stranger Things doesn't seem right. You wouldn't
Mhm.
get anything done. Granted, they have the
Yeah, for
opposite
sure.
problem where their episodes are turning into movies.
Yes, and in this show, we're only following 5 or 6 characters. We had like 2 subplots that have now converged into one, but there's not a million things going on.
This show also gets a lot done in 30 minutes.
Yes, and gives you everything you want. With the humor, with the Deadite kills, with the action, with the
Like
gore. For the
we're
most part,
watching,
every episode gives you everything.
we're at the end of this episode, and it feels like it's been like 5 minutes.
Yeah, this episode just flies by.
I imagine I think of Twilight Zone, which works much better in the 30-minute format than the hour-long season.
That's
I
true.
didn't know that was a 30-minute show.
Yeah, and those usually work because you're only usually following like just a couple characters, just really
Mhm.
simple short stories. And then they did, I think it's season 4, shift to do an hour long format, and it really didn't work.
You got to write around the time limit that you have.
Yeah.
Streaming shows have that too. Like Daredevil, I love Daredevil, but they sometimes feel it's like maybe a 4 hour movie that's been stretched out to 12
Mhm.
hours. The Disney
That's
Plus
been
shows are like an hour and a half movie that has to be 6 hours. That's their
Yep.
biggest issue. I love this song.
Yeah, and as a result, a lot of those Disney Plus shows, some of those are like 35 minutes, and you're like, why? Like, why aren't these longer? You should be, if you're gonna be a show, be a show. You should have time to explore these characters and flesh these things out.